I hope you enjoyed last week's mindful awareness lesson and you listened to the book, The Three Questions. I think it gives us a lot to ponder about, a lot to think about. So hopefully you enjoyed that book as well as the lesson. Today we're going to focus more on focused awareness, on how to hone in, how to focus in on your physical energy and your mental energy. Okay, so we're going to do a couple different activities today together. And the reason that we're doing this is so that you can be in control of that physical and mental energy. So it helps us with self-regulation. Okay, it helps us to be in control, and it also helps us with reacting or responding rather than reacting. So if something happens, as we know, our amygdala just acts, right? But if our amygdala stays calm and we think about it for a moment, we can actually respond with a much better outcome, okay? So that's what our goal is for this. I want you to be in that state of mind which you can participate, respond thoughtfully, and purposefully, okay? So how does this all connect to the science? Okay, so as we're looking at it, today we're going to focus on our breathing and how that keeps us calm, the body calm, by slowing the heart rate, lowering the blood pressure, and just sharpening that focus that we have. So today we're going to look at controlled breathing. A lot of us have some anxiety that overrides other emotions and some of our involvement in community activities or in your sports, your music, whatever it may be. So we want, instead of that amygdala fight, flight, or freeze response, we want to learn how to use controlled breathing so that we can give ourselves that second for our brains to catch up so that we can move forward and make a good, well thought out, purposeful response. That's our goal, okay? So the more that controlled breathing is practiced, the better you're going to get at it, the more self-managed you're going to get, and more mindful you're going to become, okay? So breathing is a huge, huge piece of our core practice that we're going to work on today. So last week we also did an activity about mindful listening. And we took a few seconds out. We did this, I think, during our Google Meet. We took a few seconds out and we just were silent. We cleared our heads and we just listened. As if I try that now, what I hear are my birds chirping. I hear my dog over there sniffing at the carpet for something. Okay? And I hear my other dog behind me. But what else do I hear? When our minds and our bodies are still, there's so much we can hear that we never heard before. Okay, so we're going to take part of that listening. But today we're going to practice listening to all the sounds around us. And this time we're going to monitor our breathing, okay, in a way that helps your brain think more clearly. So I want you to get in a comfortable position, maybe sit crisscross applesauce. If you're in a chair, maybe get to the tip of your chair. Excuse me. Maybe get on the edge of your chair with your feet flat on the floor, not underneath you and not crossed down on the floor. Okay. So if you're sitting on the floor, you can do crisscross applesauce. I'm going to try and put this down here without my dogs checking you guys out too much. Okay. So I'm going to be sitting on the floor. We're going to do some mindful breathing. All right, so just find somewhere nice and comfy to sit. Get comfortable and relaxed, okay? When you get to this comfy spot, I want you to close your eyes or just look down. I want you to pay close attention to your breathing. Feel that air come through your nose, then fill your chest and your belly. Calmly and slowly let the breath leave your belly and then your chest, and finally your nose. Keep your shoulders dropped and relaxed, and think about the air coming into your body and the air going out. If your mind tries to wander, bring it back to attention of your breathing. Notice your stomach rising and falling. And just let your belly be soft and relaxed. Again, paying close attention to your breathing. Feel air come through your nose, then fill your chest and your belly. Calmly and slowly, let that breath leave your belly, then your chest, finally your nose. Open your eyes slowly and take a deep, slow breath. How did it feel to control that breathing? How did you keep your mind focused on just the breathing? Lots of our minds wandered probably. You had to pull it back, okay? What did that feel like for you? I know I feel much calmer now than I did a minute ago before we did this breathing. Maybe you do and maybe you don't. Maybe you need some more practice, okay? So that's kind of what our core practice is that breathing that we do. We're going to try to continue this mindful listening and mindful breathing together so that our brains learn that this is a signal for our prefrontal cortex to take charge, okay? We're trying to get away from that fight, flight, or freeze mode that our amygdala likes us to engage in, and we're going to practice more on allowing our prefrontal cortex to take that control. So this may feel awkward at first when we're breathing, okay, especially if you've never done this. So it may feel a little awkward, but I want you to keep practicing throughout this next week because your brain will get better at it, okay? You might point out some challenges that you've had while practicing, such as keeping your attention focused on just your breathing without thinking of those other things, without focusing on listening for just the sounds that go on. Sometimes you might want to practice focusing on your breath to stay calm and make good choices. And that's why we're doing this. Okay. Eventually, your body will become familiar and comfortable with this. Okay. I'm going to put on here on my website a lot of different apps that may be helpful to you, like GoZen, if you're familiar with that. It's actually a website. There's an app called Calm, C-A-L-M, and that's really good to just help us breathe. It gives us some background music that we may or may not need, or it gives us that dialogue that you may need to do this, okay? I have a couple of other ideas for you too, and I have this sphere here. I'm not sure the technical name for it, however. I'm going to use this, and when we expand, we're going to be breathing in through our nose, and we'll hold that. And then when it condenses, we will go ahead and release our breath slowly through our mouths. Okay, so let's give that a practice some. All right, go ahead and breathe in. Hold it. And release. Breathe in. Hold it. And release. So if you needed a visual, you can think of this sphere expanding and condensing, or a balloon, if you need a balloon example, okay? I have one more other activity that we can consider, and it's called deep belly breathing, okay? So we want to take a look at this deep belly breathing. If you have a stuffed animal around or a weighted stuffed animal, I'm going to use my moose here. And what I want you to do is go ahead and lie down. I'm going to try and do this here with you. So go ahead and lie down when you get an animal. And I want you to focus on your breathing. And just set that animal right up on your belly. And as we breathe in, this animal should rise. And as we breathe out, this animal should come back down. So I want you to keep your animal steady in rising and falling. So let's go ahead and take our deep breaths in. and release. Deep breath in and release. We can do that a few times to get used to that deep belly breathing as well. Okay, so there's lots of different ways that you can practice this, whether you're sitting at your desk in school, sitting at home on the couch, or in a vehicle going somewhere. Whether you can sit or lie down, we can all practice this deep breathing. So that belly breathing, that deep breathing, remember, will keep us and our prefrontal cortex in charge. And we'll be in control, we'll make good choices. And of course, I have a short video for you to watch because honestly, I debated about using it, but then after I played it a couple of times, my daughter was walking through the house singing it. So I thought, it must be a good tune. So it's going to help you with your breathing and understand that as well. Okay? I want you to practice your core practice of breathing several times throughout this week. And then I've got a Google form for you to fill out. You get a choice this week. You can either draw a before and after cartoon showing how you might look before and after you practice mindful breathing, or you can choose a quiet place at home to breathe mindfully and describe to me in words where that place is and what makes it a good place to practice there. All right? So until next time, have a great week, friends.